So it's currently 7 a.m., working late, and just working late last night, and really had so much drive and so much energy to get my work done that I haven't slept that much, though that just gives me an incentive to make this video. So the biggest aspect of becoming somebody different, becoming somebody, and by different, I'm not meaning, what do you identify as? I mean, becoming somebody who rises above what is expected, rises above what is normal, goes all out because you had that drive in you to always go out, but you didn't know where to start. However, you came to a point in your life where you realized it's up to me. I can go out, or I can let life dictate how long it takes for me to make that decision to say, I'm going to go all out. Because the people around you, the life that other people want to live and are currently living, that is their choice. What matters, though, is rather than changing the lives, like by changing the lives, I mean, of course, us as driven individuals, we want to change other people's lives via impacting other people. However, it is up to us to not force other people to change, and up to us to find those like-minded people. Because oftentimes in life, you have those people who, say they've been friends with, people for so long in high school, and they knew each other a lot growing up. And that person will do everything that they can to change somebody else, to better their own lives. So say, for example, you have somebody who always wants to talk about one thing or the same thing, and wants other people to basically conform to that to that mindset of talking about that one thing, the same thing. And they'll do that with validation. People will say, oh, did you guys see this, or did you guys see that? I mean, in a general sense, like, I'm saying, I really feel like in these videos, like, I'll explain these things too much, because at one point I feel like I'm waiting. I want to appease to, like, the keyboard warriors that are like, well, what if I do? What do you mean? You say you don't want, you want other people to conform, but you're making these videos. But really, if you get it, you get it. Plain and simple. I'm not going to over-explain things anymore. You get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And if you don't get it, don't watch this video, because there is so much better things you can do than go on to a video like this and complain about something you don't understand. But really, you have people who want other people to conform to their interests, to their ways of thinking. And when that isn't met, that person will go, like, will basically attention seek the other person as much as they can to get those other people to conform. My whole point of me mentioning all this is that you can't force other people to change for you just in order to, like, continue a friendship or to continue to make that other person have an appreciation for you. What you can do is to go out and find those people who are at this level of emotional maturity, drive, ambition, a never quitting mindset. Similar to this David Goggins I have poster I have up, those who always stay hard. They never get easily offended by every little thing, and they don't let the little things cause them to give up. Of course, this takes time, and a lot of people don't want to put in the effort of finding other people who are actually good for them, and the people that they think are actually good for them are only those who share the same addictions as them or share the same pleasures as them, and are not people who fully envelop the idea of why we're here. Because a lot of people think the reason why we're here is just to enjoy ourselves, and while that is one aspect, it is not our identity. Our identity is for our own lives, that is, to make this world better than when we came into it from our own individual perspective. Like us making a contribution and leaving this earth and saying, man, I am proud to have made that contribution. In life, we often just undergo that pressure from our old friends and from our old reality to stay where we are. Because other people have only, like, some people that you say, the people you knew growing up, they only knew you as one person. They didn't know you as anybody else. And then when they actively see you changing, to them, they see that as a flaw, because they are coming face to face with the reality that you are on a different level than them, and they are not used to you being on a different level. They're so used to you being on the same wavelength, or even being somebody who is below their level of skill, or just level of aspirations as a person, or just level in terms of drive for our lives. Because people who are not as driven or have no drive at all are usually the ones that have the most friends, because their habits and their activities are so aligned with the world that attracts more people, because that is what people are can relate to. That is what people are the most comfortable with. And that is something that requires little to no effort to become friends with somebody, because they're sharing in a mindset that is so common. When you break out of that, when you break out of being on the same wavelength, the same level as others, people will show, whether that's verbally or non-verbally, that they don't want to have anything to do with you anymore, which is a sad reality. But it is because where you are going, God can't take them with you. Because if God were to take them with you, in the end, they'd be holding you back from accomplishing the goal that you know is the most important to you. Because what you want to fulfill in this life will make you the happiest. Because when you're fulfilled by purpose, it is not indicative of how many friends you have currently around you in this exact moment, because you are fully locked in to the purpose. And when you're locked into the purpose and not having any of those thoughts creep in of, what about these friends? What about these other friends? Then you are truly fulfilled. Because what you love doing will make you so happy that, not to say you don't care about your friends or the people that mean the most to you, but it's what you love so much encompasses your mind and makes you so satisfied that you just feel complete. And when other people see how driven you are and see what you can fulfill, or see that you are on that path to fulfilling it, or can already see that you are already fulfilling something, they will do everything they can. Some people, not all, but some people do everything they can, like when in the very beginning stages, when you are in this process of growing, like mentally, physically, spiritually, when you're growing out of your old self, those people who are so used to your old self will, whether they realize it or not, will try to push you down to who you once were, because similar to what I mentioned earlier in this video, they are not used to it. It is an unconscious protection, like mechanism in our minds, because say, back when, we were hunter-gatherers, when you had the hunter, they go out and hunt, and they're away from the family, or they're being, they're in their own way through the, being a hunter-gatherer, and they're not, say their family's not following behind them, say if they're going out hunting all by themselves, of course the family's going to be saying, why don't you just stay in the cave? Why don't you just, get in here for protection? It's the same thing. When you are so aligned with yourself individually, when your mindset is not dictated and influenced by what other by other people, then that is inevitably going to be met with resistance and that pull to go back to who you were. Because before, this goes with anybody, before anybody has ever gone on their self-improvement journey, whether that's that comes with just connecting with God, just connecting with your purpose, journaling, working out, getting in scripture, whatever the case may be. It comes from outgrowing that old self that used to be addicted to something, that used to love comfort and love pleasure, and thought that their lives could never go on without it, without the comfort, the pleasure, without the addiction, without the fake friends. Before going on this, self-improvement journey, that's what everybody thinks. Everybody's gone through that. So you have to embrace that threshold of climbing out of your old self and diving into your new self. Because the very beginning, this is just only the beginning stages, because once you get out of that beginning stage of people doubting you, wondering, why don't you do this? I'm worried about you. Like, it's always the case, if you are growing out of your old self, people will always be so worried about you when that worry is not even going to hold up in the future. Because those same people who are worried about you are worried about whether or not, what if you fail? If you fail, you won't, what will you do when you fail? You probably will need to come back to us. But when you trust that you can be successful, and you say and you already accomplish what you say you're going to do, then that's where the real growth happens. Not only in yourself, but in other people, because other people will see that, oh man, he made it, or he or she they just completely exceeded our expectations, or we were so wrong about so-and-so. And you make it when other people think that you will only get so far and you'll have to come back to them. Those same people will be the ones who were unsure of you, who were pessimistic, or who were worried, or who thought you were irrational. Those same people will come back to praise you, because they realized, man, this person, he or she, they weren't just speaking about it, they were accomplishing it, and they already did it. They'll say, I am impressed. Because being an accomplished person nowadays is so easy. Because most people are not driven. They just want to get by. They just want to live in comfort. And they just want to not come to face with themselves, to the person that hidden inside they knew was always there, but they were afraid to get it out because they were afraid to experience that sacrifice of other people just moving away, or other people, losing friends, losing family, by that I mean when you are growing so much in yourself, you'll grow to a point where other people can't relate to you. And I'm sure this is the case with, some of my videos. There's probably a lot of people, maybe there's some friends who are watching this video, shout out to you, who just do not understand what I'm talking about. Or maybe there are just some people who I'm friends with who subscribe to this channel, who don't even watch me, or they're just kind of watching at distance. That's completely fine. But yeah, that's just the case. You'll have, kind of similar to what I just mentioned before, you'll have people who not only, when you outgrow people, not only will they, just fade away, or they'll go away, they'll just go away all of a sudden, or they're so jealous that their jealousy causes themselves to pull away. Because when you become somebody better than other people, those other people, they'll be so jealous that their envy and their jealousy pushes themselves away. That's just how some people are. Their jealousy or their envy is so all-consuming. Their ego is so big that they can't accept the fact that sometimes there's somebody out there that's doing better than them. And that, of course, is not a contest, but that's just how some people think. Some people think so competitively, especially in this social media culture nowadays, where there's all this competition of likes and follows and how many replies you can get, that, people are so programmed by that when they see somebody who's doing better than them, or is growing in a way that they can't comprehend, or they thought that, either you wouldn't achieve, or, wouldn't, get to, that makes them mad, because they're thinking, why can't I do that? Why is so-and-so rubbing it in my face? Or this is just a narrative they're telling themselves, because some people just have such a tough time believing in themselves that they'll isolate from other people because of their jealousy, because of their envy. Now us, those who are driven and are always seeking for growth, we want to connect with those people. We want to connect with as many people as we can. And that's the tricky part too, because God will isolate you from the wrong people. Because there's been so many times in the past where I've attempted to talk to high school friends, mostly high school friends, and it's always an instance where I start the conversation, just get, the conversation just goes on for like 2 texts, stops, person doesn't speak anymore, or has been an instance where I attempt to continue to, make the conversation strong, over time, or I'm the only one reaching out to the person. I'm sure people watching can relate in essence to that. And you get to a point where you can't, some people you can't keep forcing it anymore, because God is separating you from other people. When you've noticed that people are distancing themselves from you, He is protecting you from something that's going on in their lives that God doesn't want you to be involved in, because He knows that it will take you off your path and distract you from your purpose, and distract you from the drive to accomplish everything. And this took some time for me. And there are times I still, think of this now too, because just before, I made this commitment to myself that I won't go back on Instagram until I've accomplished enough with my video editing craft, that I accomplish enough edits that I can post on a daily basis, that I can continuously share and use it as a way to solely inspire people, not for validation, but solely to inspire. Want to get as much content out there as I can. to the point where social media doesn't become a validation tool, it becomes an inspiration tool. And I caught myself going, I was looking at, on my computer, caught myself going back to see, what was up, see what was going on. And it's crazy too, after I've been away from it for so long, like I've been away from social media for like over 3 months, a little over 3 months. And I even though I'm not like down on myself for basically peaking at Instagram, because I knew what I was thinking in the moment. I knew that I was seeking, I knew I was still seeking that validation mindset. I look back and I think, I don't have a desire to go back on this app. Like it's just foreign to me at this point. And that's the same thing when it comes to us going back to our old selves as well. When you grow so much and you make this attempt to go back to your old self, you just won't feel that pull anymore. And you'll realize how far you've come. So really, at the end of the day, trust in the process with what God is doing in your life. Be comfortable with yourself, with who you are internally. Allow God to work through you to become the man or woman that He has called you to be, and use this time to focus on your purpose, focus on your mental state, focus on your craft, focus on just the person that God always wanted you to be. Because even with good friends out there, like with anything, sometimes people can become a distraction. That doesn't mean that you don't have any appreciation for those friends. It just means that where you want to go, you can't always take other people with you. I think, I mentioned this early in the video. But the more that you trust the process, the more you will realize that it was all worth it in the end. It doesn't make sense. But, because I say this a lot, and I'm really excited to just go and, make that video talking about my testimony to connecting God, because I'm not just talking about God all the time in these videos because I want to appeal to certain people. I talk about God because He has led me to this moment to make this video. God has been somebody I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and the connection I've had with Him for so long. But I've had that angst and anxiety to talk about Him because of the limiting beliefs of setbacks, the disagreements, all of this negativity in my mind of what people are going to say, But when you're connected with God, His love is greater than anybody else's hate. Keep pushing. Know that no matter what is going on in your life, it is always for you, not against you.